Burns,
Yes.
Chartrand,
Here.
King,
Here.
Calder,
Here.
Lachos,
Here.
Lehman,
Here.
Mowerhand,
Here.
Mosier,
Here.
Osborne,
Here.
Dahlhoff.
Here. Please stand for the invocation and the pledge. We gather to make decisions for our community. May we use only our best skills and judgment, keeping ourselves impartial and neutral as we consider the merits and pitfalls of each matter that is placed before us, and always act in accordance with what is best for our community and our fellow citizens. Please face the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The August 6 minutes have been distributed and stand approved unless someone would like to make a correction. Report of the Finance and Rules Committee per Rule 6. Terry, please.
The Finance and Rules Committee has met. They recommend to waive the rules to act upon late resolutions this evening.
Need a motion? Tom, second by Ron. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. I'll now open the public hearing for comments on local law introductory number 3-219, a local law continuing an additional mortgage tax for mortgages on real property situated in Lewis County. Is there anyone here that would like to offer a comment on that public hearing? If not, we will leave it open and we'll close it in half an hour. Privilege of the floor. Is there anyone here that would like privilege of the floor? Charlie?
That's my name. As soon as I get up. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, and this board of legislators. My name is Charlie Truax, and I am in the 15th and last year of my stint on the Lewis County General Hospital's Board of Managers, and it has been my pleasure and my honor to have served. And I wanted to personally come in and thank this board for having appointed me 5 years ago. I would like to officially thank the board who may be here or may not be here anymore from 10 years ago for having appointed me to that position. And lastly, to the board that appointed me 15 years ago. It has been a very quick 15 years. I have been in healthcare either as a worker or otherwise in the Board of Managers, etc., for about 42 years. And I can say with all honesty that my last 15 have been the most pleasurable of my entire career in healthcare. And I thank you, and that's all I wanted to do was come in personally and say thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'd stay, but I gotta go to a birthday party. Take care.
Thank you, Charlie, for your years of service.
I didn't even get a pen.
Presentation of communications and notices.
Yes, the Village of Harrisville Project Safe Community President Ann Hall penned a thank you note to the board for the county allocation to purchase their laptop that will help promote education and awareness of addiction issues in their community, and also their goal to eventually build a youth community center. The board acknowledges receipt of resolutions adopted by the Franklin County Legislature urging the governor and state legislature to address the lack of available certified early intervention program providers. And also from the Schoharie County Legislature requesting state representatives for relief from mandatory recycling regulations. And that concludes correspondence.
Thank you, Terry. Moving on to reports of county officers and departments.
Legislators have each received copies of the treasurer's August report, as well as the Highway and Solid Waste Department audit reports, the 2020 self-insurance plan estimate and apportionment of expenses, and minutes of the August 21st Youth Bureau Advisory Board and May 23rd Health Services Advisory Committee meetings. James Richmeyer has submitted his July Sealer Weights and Measures activity report that has been placed on file in my office. And that concludes the report.
Thank you, Terry. Reports of standing committees. Ryan, would you like to start with finance and rules, please?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As always, I mean, everyone was there for our committee meeting. The only thing that we tabled a resolution for the compensation plan for the exempt employees, which will come back to committee this month to discuss some details about that again. The committee defeated a request for an upgrade. And then the other stuff that we did is all in our packet tonight, so it's just pretty much typical HR stuff that we did, and finance stuff, so that's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Brian? Thank you, Brian. Jerry, General Services Committee.
Excuse me, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've been in the process, we've got a space study before, and we've gone through it for burning in cars, looking at stuff that we need to do to bring buildings up. And in the mix, we looked at building a new DSS, renovating the old DSS, and then the building that we proposed quite a few years ago has come up in the mix again. And we also have different parcels of property. So I guess the thing is we'd like to open it up for discussion now to kind of get a consensus, the direction we'd like to head in the future and stuff like that. So, do we want to start with the building first, or do we want to start with the properties? No, if we're not going to build a building, then no use looking at the properties.
Actually, the property, well, the building first.
Right now, we're looking at one that already been designed for $12.5 million. Everybody's had a copy of it. I think everybody's had a chance to study it. Do we have any questions? I mean, we've had a lot of working sessions to get everybody up to speed. And now's the time to have the discussion of what we want to do, whether we want to move it forward, whether we want to can it, or whatever. I will say that that's not the only reason, but the building will solve a lot of our construction problems on the other side. As far as stuff that we need to take care of. Not that it's going to shift it, but when you spend like 6.5 if we put a new DSS building on, we've still got to renovate the other one. So if you renovate the other one, then you're talking about roughly 10 million. And for 2.5 more, everybody has a home now. So what, do we want to move it forward? Anybody got any discussions, questions?
The plans were drawn up, what, 8-10 years ago, I guess?
6, I believe it was. Yeah. Whether, go ahead.
Are we sure that we don't need more or less space, I guess is my question.
They've run the space studies for the people we've had, and they've fallen in those parameters. So the new building design still has adequate space for the people there. And you had one other part to your question. Oh, the other thing we will have to do is, seeing the building so old, we've also got to do an upgrade on all the codes, because code changed 2 years ago. So we do have a price. I think everybody saw a copy of that. To take the building forward is, don't hold me to exact figures, around $750,000 to do the engineering and bring that stuff up for code. And then if we decide to put the building somewhere else, this is the price on the hill. If we pick another piece of property to put it on, there will be some other expenses as far as looking at the foundation and everything else, so.
I guess one of my comments is that we have a grant application in that would have a significant impact on the cost of this.
But Larry, we can be going 10 years from now and never get that. And the thing is, it's gone up since the first time we bid it. 4.5 million, it's going up roughly $500,000 a year. And what happens if we don't get it? We're at the same place.
Are we sure we're, the current needs are the same as what they were 10 years ago? Do we need to do a little more due diligence on, what the current requirements are?
Well, if you guys want to, but I think we need to start moving it forward if we're gonna do anything. If not, we should go back to that study and start doing stuff there. I mean, we're renting here, there, and everywhere else. To be honest, nobody is happy with where we're at. It's not adequate and stuff, so, I mean.
Dick, you have a comment?
Yeah, the 6 years I've been on the board here, I've been asking for a master plan study. The building's definitely part of my master plan study, or our master plan study. But I'm not clear for the next 5 years where we wanna go, what we wanna spend our money on. And what I'm getting at is if you spend 15 million for the building, and I don't even wanna get hung up in the price of the building, cause it's gonna be what it's gonna be once we get it done. But I'd like to see us say, okay, in 2020, we're going to do this is our #1 project, and have some projected cost for it. Then in the out years, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z for the next 5 years, because what I'm looking at, the windmill money went down considerably. And some of what I went through that we were given says we're going to take what we get now for the windmill money, and we're gonna put a portion of it to continue to pay on the debt on the courthouse, I believe. And then we're going to take the rest of it, pretty much, and put on paying, however we do this building, whether we bond it or what we do, but we'll pay on the building. That I don't think leaves us anything for anything else, and I just want us to at least have talked about what other things are out there, and we know what they are. We've talked about the shop for the highway and stuff down there, and different things like that. So I'd like to build it all together.
But Dick, we
So
do
we know where
have,
we're
we
at.
do have that information.
We spent $50-some
We
thousand
spent
dollars on that study.
$48,000
Right.
on this study.
So my question
That's
is
the
then,
5-year capital
We've had
plan.
it for a year.
but my question is,
There's the 5-year capital plan
Are
that
we-
they came up with.
right, now, with today's money where it's at, are we gonna have the money for each of these?
Over
At
the
that
next
time.
5 years,
Yeah.
probably not.
Well, that's
You're
my
looking
point,
at
yeah.
21, you're looking at $22 million for a grand total.
Yeah,
And the transfer station that's way under.
But
yeah, but
You
the
know,
transfer station will be,
That'll be its
own
self,
project,
own
yeah.
project. But these are 2017 numbers.
I'm not so worried about these numbers as I am this total down here. I don't think we're gonna have that kind of money over
and
the next 5 years.
a lot of it goes away with a new building.
What on this goes away, Jerry?
DSS.
The DSS part of that.
Well, the
We
DSS
need
is part of the
storage.
office building.
We
yeah.
need storage. We're putting $200,000 a year away for the highway down there. That doesn't have to be done instantly.
Right?
I mean, the biggest thing is, we've run around since I've been here, trying to find homes for people. And when we find them, they're inadequate, or we pay through the nose to keep them up.
But we've changed on what we're paying for rent right now.
Yeah, it's higher.
Well, it's in,
And
we just
put
moved
it
the
this
office
way,
of the
you
aging
stuff
back
the
into
office of the
ours.
aging in with DSS.
Right.
If you take the space study, DSS needs that whole building up there, 21,000 square feet.
Right.
Okay, so office of aging really doesn't have a home. You put
That's
them
one of
up
my
there,
points.
you put them up, well, the thing
Yeah.
is, everybody has a home if you build a new building.
So
Everybody. We don't have to worry about DSS, we don't have to worry about board of elections, we don't have to worry about any of the office of the agent. And the thing is, we're gonna keep kicking this around, it's gone up, and it's gonna continue to go up. And we've run the numbers once already, we have the money to make the payment, because 47.5% is DSS, which they're paying, which is accelerated over 16 years. We've had one projection, correct me, you run one projection for us already.
Right.
And I can't remember what the exact figures were, but they were $600,000-$700,000 a year and stuff like that. It's doable. And the thing is, a lot of this other stuff disappears with that. Prime example, if we build the building and we stay up there, it covers $500,000 of TSB, because that's the cost estimate to do the parking lot, the impoundment area and stuff like that. So that bumps a bunch of stuff we have for that. DSS is, we really need storage space and different stuff. So I mean,
Well, here's the figures, I got the figures.
okay, I didn't have them with me.
20-year bond, if the county share would be $611,000 on a 20-year bond.
Hmm.
And if we went to 30, drops it to $464.
Yeah, it's just gonna continue to get more and more
But I mean,
expensive.
if you look at this space study, or this study that they did, it gives you the numbers.
Well, wasn't the number one priority was the DSS building,
Right,
correct?
right.
And to renovate the old DSS building was just under $5 million, that alone. If you were to build just a new building for DSS was 6.5, Dick. So, I mean, I think you take care of that problem with the new building, plus we solve our renting problem, our rental problem too. I just think the new building's the way to go.
There's a little space left over.
And there's space
future
left
growth.
over for future growth. And it takes care of our storage problem then too that we have. And I think down the road, if it's feasible and stuff, I mean, with the added space that you're saving by building a new building, I honestly think down the road, a couple, 3 years down the road after the new building's up, if everyone at the board here looks into it, I think there's a big cost savings for the hospital and the county if you start buying all your paper products and everything involved and store them right here. It's like,
And we haven't talked to the hospital, but that would be something for DSS, that the old DSS building we talk about, because storage doesn't take much, but I don't think they have the storage space now for what they'd like to get in. I don't know. I kind of heard that you're crammed here, there, and everywhere else, so, I mean, that would be something coming back in that we could apply back on the accounts and stuff like that.
DSS is still in that plan, right?
As far as
The building,
the new building?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sitting here doodling with numbers a little while ago. We're paying roughly $24,000 a year for rent. It's 19 something a month. On a 2,000, to keep it simple, a 2,000 square foot building at $225 a square foot is close to $500,000. The principal, not even counting the interest, the principal paid down over 25 years, or 20 years is $25,000. That doesn't count the interest and anything else. My point is it's more expensive to build that space than it is to lease the current space that we have.
so what happens if your lease space is yanked out from underneath it, Larry? What happens? You have no home for anyone. Verklers can yank that out, the Commons can yank that out at any time that they want, if they find a buyer. So where are you gonna put? You're running out of places to run around this place.
And rent goes up, half the stuff doesn't work, we gotta go in there and repair it at ours, somebody else's building. And I still believe it'd be more cost effective to put everybody under one roof.
Well, right now, current lease cost is $89,206.44.
We're talking about spending $12 million
Right.
to offset an $89,000 a year cost. So
Well-
we're gonna spend
Right.
$600,000 a year.
Right.
That's after, the state reimburses us for the state, the
Back it up.
DSS payment.
But
We're
what are you gonna do
talking
with
about
that?
spending half of that
$6 million
for
refurbishing an old
DSS.
building and still have an old building.
I,
You're still gonna spend $6 million to refurbish an old building and you're still gonna have an old building.
And then if you give them to them,
if that's what we do.
and then where
Well, you're
you,
gonna have to do something with it.
where are you gonna put an office at aging if you refurbish an old building? That building's only 21,000 square feet. So if we're gonna do that, off-staging needs a home and different stuff, and think about this. I mean, you're spending 6.5 for just DSS, and you can spend 12.5, give everybody a home. And the cost for building that additional 24,000 square foot, yes, it's a lot of money, but it's 6.5 million. You're never gonna build another building that size for that kind of money. And we're not charging rent for off to the aging because we moved them over there, so we subtracted that. And some, eventually, I mean, that should be counted in this. And there are savings. I mean, we pay they pay, what is it, the interest on DSS, it'll be, whatever 47.5% is on that portion, they pay that off in 16 years, expedited and stuff, so. It's doable, and I think it's the right thing to do.
I mean, when we would first come on board, right, I mean, we backed away from the building, we backed away from the county, or the bowling alleys. We had a radio project, we wanted to put all of our eggs in economic development, some other things. I think we accomplished what we did, and we put this building on the back burner for 5 years. I think that I mean, we really need to sit down and think about this. We can't keep taking the window money and throwing it. It's great if we can have the ability to throw money at stuff that might happen. We also have to use this money for stuff that we know that we need to use it for, to take care of our buildings and like that.
Don't forget, also back 5-6 years ago, the hospital was in dire straits, in our view anyway. Now, I mean, with the new CEO that we have, and all the new situations, I mean, we don't really have to worry about the hospital at this point. They've come a long ways. I do believe, yeah, we have to look at something, you know. I mean, why spend $4.9 million renovating DSS? It's only one step above a pole barn as it is. You know, it's a metal-sided structure that it's 30 years was its life. It's 30 now.
Yeah.
You might as well we're gonna have to bite the bullet sometime, you know, and I can't see why you wouldn't wanna build a building big enough to handle everybody and put them all under one roof, wherever it is. And that way, at least with DSS up on the second floor, you know, we get a little bit of a cut there out of their pocket.
Well, they pay
They pay 37
for
and a
air
half.
conditioner, they pay 47%.
Yep.
Minus, what's the figure, 75%? So they pay 75% of like to help out and stuff like that. And if we build separate, that doesn't happen. And we just need to look for efficiencies for savings. And we're not getting them right here, there, and everywhere else. I mean, I would like to move it forward for further discussions and seriously look at it if the support's here, so.
John?
You know, I support the building 100%, but I will not support it without a project engineer.
A what?
Project engineer.
No, I agree 100% there. We had it on the last one, we'll have it on this one.
I mean, I guess it's up to all of us to I mean, I
Yeah.
guess we need a vote, really, find out who's willing to
Can we take one
go
now?
forward. Who wants to go forward?
Well, I mean, can we do a straw poll, see if I
Oh,
wanna
sure,
move it
yeah.
forward? Whatever.
What are we moving forward? The construction of a building or the process
Just
to
a new
investigate
building.
the construction of a new building or?
Just a new building.
So we're voting on whether to spend $12 million
We
on
haven't,
building.
we haven't cited any of the properties that it could land on or anything else. That's a separate.
Randy?
Well, I just, we move, so we actually, this would commit to building the building if we vote this right now.
No, we
Versus
still
for,
gotta do.
cause I'm not for just committing to building
We
without
still
further
gotta do a
discussion and finding out what the tax base would ultimately end up being. That's what I'm gonna look at. I'm not gonna commit to a $12.5 million investment and find out that our tax base is gonna go right through the roof. I
Well-
wanna talk to people in my district before I throw my neck out on a chopping block.
I
Well-
thought the latest BCA estimate was 15 million.
It was 12.5, and then when you
Then we got-
finance it, they threw the figure in 15. We've never
The
had,
code thing was 3 million.
no, it wasn't.
You just said that about 20 minutes ago.
I did not say that.
What did you say then when you said we've got the
It
code
was
updated from 10
3.5
years ago?
million if we renovated the old DSS up there.
Okay,
Then it was 6.5 if we built a brand new one.
okay.
And then it was 12.5 if we built this building up there. Now, it's gonna be different if we choose other
What
property.
did the bids come in last time at? Right around 10?
8.5,
8.5,
yeah.
okay. And it's gone up how much in the last?
4.5 since the last time we bid it out. It's going up about
So that's-
$500,000
So
a year.
8 and 4 is 12.
12.5.
And I can tell you, Jerry, the code changes in the last 10 and 15 years is gonna make some more money into that project. And BCA said that when they were here briefing us.
They did, that's the price with the new codes.
Okay, Dick, I've got it right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so option one, and I'll read it exactly how it was sent to Ryan and Ryan forwarded it to us. Option one is the new construction value for option one, which I do believe is, option one is the new building. Is 12.4 million with a fee of 9% or 1.116 million. We believe that we can use some of the previous work for the design phases and would offer a credit of $371,070 for the majority of the previous work completed for the schematic design and design development phases, and some credit for the construction document phase for a discounted fee of $744,930. Option two is for option two, we expect there will be an increase of overall cost to 13.4 at a 9% base fee of 1.6206. The credit for this option would be $192,960 for a discounted fee of $1,013.40 or $13,040.
And what was 2, Jerry?
That was putting it elsewhere on.
That was
piece
putting
of
it
property.
elsewhere on a different piece of property than what the building has already been designed for, the bores and everything, so.
And I'm like Randy, I mean, all we're gonna do here is do we wanna take the next step and start looking at it and getting answers. I mean, we've been waiting well over a year for Vanessa to put figures to it. We haven't seen those. I wanna see those. We've got from Ryan, the windmill and stuff like this, our accounts. I think everybody needs to look at those. Everybody had a copy of it.
That's kind of what I said.
But, and the thing is that what we're having this discussion for, we haven't had a meeting in 2 months, and everybody's been waiting. So the thing is, are we gonna have a meeting to get down in discussion, or is everybody opposed to it? And let's go do something else. That's what we're trying to find out. Sorry for taking a long way around.
No, I think we gotta have more discussion. I think that's where my hesitancy is.
Well-
I'm not comfortable.
And that's fine, Dick, but I think all that we're looking for is, and I'm looking for is, let's make a decision. Are we going to seriously look into building this building? Are we gonna keep dragging our asses like we are now, like we have for 2 months, and let it go on for another 6 months or another year where the cost keeps going up? Let's make a decision tonight that we're either gonna go ahead and move forward, seriously look into the building, or if you don't want to, if everyone doesn't want to, then good, we'll move on to better, greener
Other
pastures.
things?
That's all I'm asking for, so.
That's all
I'm
I'm
kind of
asking.
a Randy, until I know more info, I'm not gonna
Well, I'm
vote
not
for building a
saying,
building.
but what I'm saying is,
I'll vote for looking at this,
let's move
refining
ahead and
it,
be serious about it.
and making our decisions on it, that's no problem, but
And
I'm
that's
not gonna
fine.
support,
But the next meeting we have,
hard to do.
what do you wanna see that you haven't seen? That's all I'm asking, I'm not giving you a hard time.
no, the first thing I wanna do is, however many sites we got right now, we've talked them over. There's somewhere between 10 and 12.
We've talked those once.
Okay, the first thing I'd like to see us do is take those site by site, pros and cons, and narrow them down, because I think we only need maybe 3 maximum.
We did narrow them down
We did narrow them down.
to 4.
Have we got the backup documentation to where site number 12 was rejected because of?
You wanna do that now, or you wanna do it?
Right there.
I think as we get to looking at it, we gotta go into it and,
I thought we did 3.
We did do
Well,
it.
I thought we did them all, we ended
We sure
up
did.
with 2.
I thought we ended up with 3. I
Yep.
thought we ended up,
Number 4 up to the sheriff's, and what was the other one?
Down here,
Over the
there
house
was
front.
two in the village.
Where was that up there? Oh, yeah.
then we were at 4.
There are 4.
Well, you had
Yeah.
one and
What
Larry
was the
had one.
fourth one?
Yeah.
Greg has
Number
one,
number
and
2,
the original.
number 4 road, Stowe Street, of course, and then we have.
I mean,
2 on State Street.
let's set the meeting up so we're not here all night and I'm using up my time for a lifetime.
1 on South State Street,
Let's set
and
one.
1 on North State Street, wasn't
North.
That north, so.
it? Or south, I mean.
Well, I thought the one was in Campbell.
Yeah, it's got, yeah, there's one on
That was one when I thought somebody made the one on South State Street, which was way out of line. Those were the 4, those were the 4.
I mean,
Well,
those
we
are only
narrowed
getting,
them down
I think you
to
can
12.
narrow them all down right now, quick like anyways,
Because a lot of them don't meet your site,
I mean,
your space needs anyways.
You can narrow it to 2.
Well, we can, but why don't we do this? Why don't we set another meeting next week or whatever? As a committee, the committee will be where we can make decisions. Any decision can be made, and we'll go through all this stuff again. Just like I don't mind discussing the properties, and we'll vote them up and vote them down, and then we end up with whatever. Everybody good with that?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What's good for everybody for next
Thought we
week?
were already down to 4.
Well, I did too, but apparently some haven't been paying attention. So to get down to 4, we need to do it tonight.
Actually, you need to get down to 2, really.
Well-
I think we were down to 2.
For all intents and purposes, I think we were down to 2.
Well, number 1 and number 2.
You guys wanna do it tonight? If not, we'll do it in a meeting.
2 weeks from tonight, we got our committee meeting.
No, we need it before then, so this can move on if we're gonna move on. So can we do something next week? In the evening?
Fine with me.
Thursday.
How about,
Let me know.
how about Tuesday night, 5 o'clock next week?
What'd you say, Jerry, please?
Tuesday night, 5 o'clock next week?
That's the 10th?
Will that be an open meeting?
Yeah. It's gonna be anything to be decided there, we'll
5 p.m.
vote on stuff.
Say 5 p.m.?
Yep. Is that good for
So-
everybody, or need to be a little later?
Wait a
Hold on
second,
a
Jerry,
second.
are you holding a special meeting of the board, or is this a working session?
Well, we can make decisions, anytime we meet is 10, we can make
So-
decisions.
But, well,
It's
you
not a
have to
working
set a
session.
special meeting. If you're gonna
Well,
have a
then-
special meeting of the board, you can have a working session of the
We
of
can't
the
make
board.
decisions.
We can't make decisions.
We wanna be able to make decisions, so if it's a special meeting, so be it.
Does that give you enough time, Terry, for a
Yes.
special board meeting
Yeah.
Tuesday?
Okay.
And what time did you
So
say?
what's the date?
Is 5 o'clock good for
September
everybody?
10th.
Yep.
So, do you wanna make that a motion then, Jerry?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Alright.
it.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Thank you for the time, appreciate it. And if anybody needs any more information, let me know. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Maybe cool about it.
Patty, can we have some figures that night too, on the windmill money, what we got? I know we've got them, but calculate it out and stuff like that, and is there any chance of getting something from the next?
I got him here, I think Ryan sent him to us.
Just because it's only a week's notice, but we can get on.
Well, how close can you get?
The only difference between the numbers that Patty and I have done and the numbers that Vineski is going to do is they're going to weight the state's proportion differently over time. The end numbers are the same. Our proportion is the same, the state's proportion
They
is
will
the same.
be?
It's
Okay.
just the weight of the payments in year 1 versus year 10. They can do that calculation.
But can we have the old one to show people?
Yeah, I
Because the
sent
thing
it
is,
to-
there's a lot of it up front that makes it more doable.
Yeah. We
Because of
front
that.
load because we want the lender is going to front load our interest payments, just like with your house or a car, right? So Vineski, the state's proportion of the bond is gonna be front loaded because they're paying a proportion of the interest.
Over
So,
16 years.
Yeah. So
But
that's
it
the-
gives us a
that's
little
the-
better understanding. If we can get that, I appreciate it.
So then Patty, with, and
Just their piece.
I know this is a daunting task, but because Randy and Dick had mentioned about the tax levy, is there a way to give us kind of some sort of estimate on what the it's hard to do because we don't know what our costs are gonna be every year, so.
Right, again, you can say what the county share is
Shares
going to
would
be
be,
after.
Why is that changed if we're using windmill money? It should-
Again, it won't, as long as you have that windmill money.
Windmill money to cover it.
There's a
Absolutely.
lot of other factors that can come into play that will affect the outcome of the overall budget. And we both all know that with regards to living in New York State. That's just, for sure, you know. Well, lots of these mandates seem to be coming down the pike again.
Yep.
So I just question, how far do we wanna jump into this pool? Oh, speaking of pools, let's build a pool.
Well,
What
see,
bathhouse?
we did get that, Randy, kind of.
We got the pool?
Yeah, we got the pool.
Okay.
But I mean, we did get the remaining capital projects, how much would be left from the, okay, we have this windmill revenue projections anyway. And this has got Maple Ridge, Denmark, Bolingbrook, number 3 and Deer River. And Deer River isn't put out there until 2025. So the courthouse debt service used for operating budget, so that's funding for day-to-day use. And then the remaining for the capital projects. And it's there, I mean, the money's there.
And we should have $1.6 million sitting in the account because we got 2 years, $800,000 we haven't spent.
Right.
Am I wrong in that, or we used it?
This year? Is that?
We
what
had
you're wrong?
when we paid the radio system off, we had $800,000 left over, should have, from the previous year, because we didn't make any payments and we didn't use it, and we should have $800,000 left over from that account, so we should have roughly $1.6 million.
Okay, so when you're talking about the radio system,
No, we're talking about now what was left over that we're financing the radio with coming out of
okay, so you're just saying, what do we have in the budget each year? Yes, $800,000. Yep, from the windmill money.
alright, so let me understand, that's the $800,000 we're using against the windmill. Or I mean, the radio project, that's paid off, so
It
that's
we used to
available.
pay for the building.
Okay, that's available.
And then we need to look at the other ones, cause that's gonna, change in what, 5 years, 4 years?
Yes, 3 more for windmill payments.
And then we,
2022.
The new schedule is in, the new schedule we agreed to is in your spreadsheet for
Right.
the Maple Ridge, yeah.
Is that this one range from 3-4?
Yes, yep.
so what's that drop to roughly?
Goes from 1.8 to about $1 million over from now in 2020 and 2023.
So that still should be some.
Yes, I believe through the lifetime of actually this, you'll have $800,000.
Oh, appreciate it. I've taken enough time, Mr. Chairman. I think
Okay, are we ready to move on? Any other questions for Jerry? Thanks, Jerry. Greg, Health and Human Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have anything new to report. Committee meeting was attended by everyone here, so I believe everyone knows exactly what went on. Thank you.
Any questions for Greg? Thanks, Greg. Dick?
Okay, I was out of town, but I do have the hospital minutes here, and I'll make it as brief as I can. We had Employee of the Month for July, Jennifer Volt. She's the Director of Rehab in the nursing home, our residential health care facility. And Mr. Young presented her with a plaque on behalf of the Board of Managers. So if you see Jennifer, congratulate her on a job well done. Then there was some discussion on critical access hospital designation, and I'll just read it because it's just going to be easier and I won't miss something. The update to the board regarding the benefits and constraints of a critical access hospital designation has been provided to our facility since March 2014. Critical access hospital is a designation given to eligible rural hospitals by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. It's designed to reduce the financial vulnerability of rural hospitals and improve access to health care by keeping essential services in rural communities. A little different than what we heard today, and why it's important that we maintain this designation. Currently, there are 18 critical access hospitals in New York State, 5 of which are located in North Country. Rose County General, Edward John Noble, Star Lake, Carthage Area Hospital, and River Hospital. So the fact that we are a critical access hospital is some of what's helped the hospital's financial picture of where we're at and the money that we're getting in. Finance update, we had a gain for the month of $486,000 versus a budgeted gain of $187,000. Our year-to-date gain is $676,400 versus a budgeted gain of $492,000. The Lewis County General Hospital's 12th annual breast cancer awareness dinner is scheduled for Tuesday, October 22nd at the Lava Log Slide. This has happened year after year. Encourage anyone that wants to participate to get their tickets early because this event sells out quickly every year. Mrs. Denise Hirsch at 376-5235. Get your tickets. If you just call the switchboard, they'll transfer you right there as well. And Jerry has a couple of updates on a couple of topics he wants to talk about.
Great, thank you, Dick. Let me first address Copenhagen. Some positive development there. As you know, we're having to go through a certificate of need process, and going through that process, the lack of not having an appropriate operating certificate means that we are now going to be held to the codes that are in existence in 2020. But working with our architect, we were able to identify a series of codes that have not yet been approved, but will be approved shortly. And in conversations with the Department of Health, they're going to hold us to that new standard of code, which is really targeting rural health centers. So what that means is the estimates of modernizing the building at $700,000 to $1 million. It looks like we're going to be able to do it for around $350,000. So we were fortunate, and so where we are now, the Board of Managers has basically given, endorsed moving forward. And what that means is we've had four floor plan options that we have been reviewing, and we will be using option 2 or phase 2, which allows us to stay within the existing 4 exterior walls of the building. We will earmark $350,000 in the hospital's 2020 capital renovations for the Copenhagen Clinic. We have initiated the certificate of need application process with the Department of Health. Need to give you a briefing, which is what I'm doing tonight, and my hope is to give a similar briefing within next week to the Copenhagen trustees and their mayor. Once the CON is approved, we'll go through the appropriate bidding process, and I've already received some calls by individuals who are interested. We have actively initiated the recruitment of a new nurse practitioner to cover the clinic 4 days a week, and our target opening is spring of 2020. So, 6 to 8 months out. So that's a positive development. Wanted to talk about a helicopter landing zone. Right now, there are 16 landing zones in Lewis County. One of those landing zones is in the former Climax building, about 2/10 of a mile up the road from the hospital on the right. Over the last month, we've had meetings with the leadership at Mercy Flight, and there's a process you go through to move the designated landing zone from the manufacturing parking lot to the hospital parking lot. So we have received approval for the design of a landing zone at the hospital. There's a difference between a landing zone and a helicopter pad. One is FAA regulated, the other is not. And it also influences what can land. This would be used strictly for medical evacuations. That's it, which would be appropriate. We have an upper parking lot that has a direct ramp to the emergency department. That's where it would go. The investment is pretty modest. Early estimates, it'll be somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000. And essentially that means running power, putting in some lights, ceiling, and then putting the appropriate logo for the helicopters to see, as well as a new fence around the landing zone. With the activities at the Center for Business, the old Climax building, it is appropriate for us to move it back to the hospital, which it was sometime a decade or so ago. So it looks like we're good to go. The Board of Managers has endorsed this. The other motivator, in addition to being closer to the emergency department, the resources that are used every time the helicopter lands there, you're bringing in the fire department, you're bringing in the police department, and you're bringing in search and rescue. It is possible now we would not use any of those three, because if you're going to transport from the emergency department, we would push a stretcher up the ramp to the waiting helicopter. And when Mercy designates it, that also applies to other helicopter services that might use the landing zone. Time frame, I would expect it'll be operational by the end of October, and then we'll have a ceremonial ribbon cutting ceremony, to make sure that you all are invited. Third item is strategic planning. We've been involved in a several-month strategic planning process. We are now at the phase where the document has been developed in its draft form. It's a pretty progressive document, unlike, I would guess, any other type of strategic plan you've seen. We're working it through our various groups at the hospital for seeking final approval from the Board of Managers. As we get to that point, I will reach out to the chair and Mr. Pache to get an audience with you to run through the plan so you can see what we're thinking. And it really will reflect our work over the next 3 to 5 years. And unless there are questions, that would be my report. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. County Manager report, Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Patty and I continue to work on the 2020 budget. We finally received all the information that we needed from the state of New York regarding our contribution to the pension system. So that's a pretty big number that we were kind of waiting on from them. So at this point, we kind of have our first rough draft. We need to go back through and kind of see what's feasible and what's not. Last year, we gave our first, we had our first budget workshop on October 11th. If that time frame is still going to work for you guys, we'll shoot for something the first or the second week of October, and you know, we'll have some significant things to present at that time. So that's basically what we've been working on. I will say that in other news, Adam Zaire, who works in the IT department, won his weight class in North Dakota last week, and he will be invited to the World Championship in Europe later this year. So, kind of cool.
Thank you, Ryan. Patty, treasurer's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have your balances. Special legislative contingency is $96,942. Regular contingency is $181,975. Capital data processing is $61,378.43. Capital equipment, highway share, $61,351.30. County share, $297,867.25. Sales tax to date, $6,613,595.90. We're just about $1,000 less than we were last year at this time. And internal service fund, I have the figures through June, $4,829,815.40 for a fund balance, and the cash is $4,475,444.63. And that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Questions for Patty? Thanks, Patty. Okay, Terry, report of the Finance and Rules Committee per Rule 7.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to close the public hearing?
I can, but you can put it next on the list. But is there anyone here for make a comment on the public hearing? Yes.
My name is Elizabeth Miller. And
Could you come up front, please?
My name is Elizabeth Miller, and I'm here not only as a local business owner, but as a representative of the Jefferson Lewis Board of Realtors and the New York State Association of Realtors. And I wanted to address, we've got a proposal to increase the mortgage tax. And it's always our position to keep home ownership as affordable as possible. And I wasn't able to find any data on what the change in that would be.
Well, before you go any further, this is not an increase, it's a continuation of the same number.
Okay, so that I guess that's okay. We'd love to see it go away, but if it's not an increase, I'm okay with that.
At least it's not, as far as I know, it's not an
It is
increase.
not an increase? Okay. Okay, well, I'll be happy to report that back.
That make it easier.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other comments for the public hearing? If not, we will close the public hearing. And now report of Finance and Rules Committee.
The Finance and Rules Committee reports they have examined the claims presented for payment in a total amount of $758,184.62 and recommend that they be audited and allow for the amounts claimed.
Need a motion? John, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
The first resolution then is to audit and allow the claims for $758,184.62.
Moved by Brian, second by Tom. Discussion? Roll call.
Burns,
Yes.
Chartrand,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Kulzer,
Yes.
Lachos,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Morahan,
Yes.
Mosher,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Bellhop.
Yes.
You have local law introductory number 4, authorize overriding the tax levy limit established by the general municipal law. also known as the 2% tax cap for the Lewis County 2020 budget. Resolution 289 is to fix the public hearing date for that proposed local law for October 1st at 5 o'clock.
Moved by Jerry, second by Randy. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
To adopt and otherwise treat local law number 4, continuing the additional mortgage tax for mortgages on real property situated in Lewis County.
Moved by Jerry, second by Brian. Discussion. All in favor?
It's roll call. Please roll call. Burns,
Yes.
Chartrand,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Callser,
Yes.
Lachos,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Mowerhand,
Yes.
Mosier,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Dahlhoff.
Yes.
Thank you. 291, to amend and adopt the standing rules of the Board of Legislators.
Moved by John, second by Ron. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? John, Brian, and Greg opposed. And I'm for.
And Larry, okay.
No, Larry wasn't opposed.
I'm for. I
Okay,
support.
oh, sorry, I thought you said you were opposed, okay.
No.
Thank you. So it's the 3 against 7, all right. Adopted. 292 is directing demolition and removal of an unsafe building pursuant to local law 2 of 2007.
Moved by Jerry, second by Ron. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing renewal agreement between county and unified court system.
Moved by Tom, second by Dick. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, county clerk.
Moved by Greg, second by John. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, county clerk.
Moved by Greg, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, county manager.
Moved by Ron, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, legislative, Harrisville Fire Department.
Moved by Jerry, second by Dick. Discussion. Ryan?
Just want to make everyone aware that John is the one that actually brought this resolution forward to the committee and stuff. My name is only on it because it comes out of our committee, so.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 2898 has been withdrawn. It's in error. 299, appropriate funds for highway department.
Moved by Tom, second by John. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Or, Dick?
No, go ahead, finish this, I got a question.
Okay. Motion carries.
298, is that coming back up again, it was withdrawn? or-
Yes,
Okay.
it was an incorrect version. There were 2 versions of the resolution, and
Thank
that
you.
was the incorrect one.
Very
You
good.
should have the late resolution.
It's a late resolution now.
Was,
Yeah,
right.
that's what I was.
Okay. All right, resolution 300, authorizing intermunicipal agreement, highway department and towns for snow and ice road agreements.
Moved by John, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing an agreement between highway department and Valley Snow Travelers.
Moved by Jerry, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Transfer funds, legislative.
Moved by Brian, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing one-time payment between the county and Laval Food Pantry.
Moved by John, second by Dick. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Extending contract with New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services.
Moved by Jerry, second by Brian. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing agreement between Public Health and Beaver River School District preschool education program.
Moved by John, second by Randy. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing intermunicipal agreement between counties and the public health for emergency response.
Moved by Tom, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing addendum to agreement between public health and Susan Guidison.
Moved by Andrea, second by Randy. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Amending compensation plan with reference to public health.
Moved by Greg, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Resolution reappointing Lewis County Real Property Tax Director Candy Edkin.
Moved by Dick, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're voted.
Appointing members to Labor Management Safety Committees.
Moved by Jerry, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing extension agreement with Harrisville Central School by and through the sheriff for the SRO.
Moved by John, second by Ron. Discussion.
Did we solve the non-school year pieces of this stuff?
I think we have, it's in the budget, we'll have to vote on
I was looking for it here, Lee, unless I.
We're putting it in recreation is what we wanted.
That's my question. Okay, good, thank you.
And this is a sergeant, and the school has agreed to pay the difference between sergeant and deputy.
Okay, good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing discharge of mortgage, Fuller property.
Moved by Andrea, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
To appropriate funds for social services.
Moved by Dick, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing renewal agreement with ICU Security and Private Investigations for social services building.
Moved by Jerry, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Show John opposed. Motion carries.
Authorizing agreement between DSS and Office for Aging for HEAP.
Moved by Ron, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing document management software and support maintenance system agreement with Toshiba for DSS.
Moved by Jerry, second by Ron. Discussion. All in favor? Whoops, go ahead, Jerry.
Is this like a new software, an update, or?
Yep, it's a new software system. It'll be used by the caseworkers to track their cases in real time and hopefully eliminate some of our hard filing cabinets that we have.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Amending compensation plan, creation and temporary position, Department of Social Services.
Moved by Dick, second by Ron. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
To transfer funds, Social Services.
Moved by Jerry, second by John. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Resolution setting the 2020 workers' compensation apportionment for the Lewis County Self-Insurance Plan.
Moved by Jerry, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
To appropriate funds, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act.
Moved by Ron, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Amending 2019 Resource Allocation Plan.
Moved by Tom, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, Youth Bureau.
Moved by Andrea, second by Ron. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
To rescind Resolution 208 of 2019 Youth Bureau.
Moved by John, second by Andrea. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And we have your late resolutions. Number 324 is authorizing a one-time payment to the county and Lewis County Volunteer Fire Departments.
Moved by John, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing mortgage subordination agreement between county and B.S. Verklew and Sons.
Moved by Jerry, second by Greg. Discussion.
Yeah, I just got a question.
Joe, you want to give a brief explanation on that?
Basically, Verkler is refinancing all of it's getting a loan from KeyBank, and has to put up all of its properties as collateral.
Okay.
And because we're leasing the property on South State, the State Street, we have to, and it's in our lease agreement that we would cooperate in the subordination agreement with the bank.
Thank you.
And it does hold us harmless if anything, if they default. We're not part of that process. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
I do have one question. Talked to Highway about keeping some summer help. Did they have, I may have missed it, did they ask for some money from you for resolution?
No. We haven't moved any money. What, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
No, I got on 126,000 for the road.
Yeah.
I talked to the committee, and Warren wanted to take some money out of there, and because it's part-timers because of this year, we're gonna be done this week or next week.
Yeah, keep talking. I got you.
Okay, but there wasn't a resolution to swap it over, was there?
It's in paving materials. It went to paving materials, so I'm not sure, did he need more paving materials? Or
No, he
labor?
needs for labor.
Yeah, no,
To keep him on until the
I
end
didn't
of
get
the month,
anything.
because supposedly they had more projects. And I run it by the committee and told them it was, called them back, told them it was okay, but I thought we needed a resolution for him to get the money.
Yeah, you probably do. We'll have to, we can, either he can move it internally or we can do it next month.
We can do it.
Yeah.
Because don't we, because when we passed a resolution for the temporary workers, wasn't it to a certain time period?
Yeah.
So we have to pass a resolution to extend that, don't we?
Yeah, I, again, haven't talked with Warren about this, so I briefly talked to him.
Well, and the reason was they got the funding from,
The damage.
the damage and stuff like that, and they've had quite a little bit of overtime. And it was out of his budget, so it was all right with us. So that's filling everybody else in. Thank you.
Any other business? Proclamation commemorating Lewis County Night Out event.
Whereas the Lewis County Youth Bureau, Level Police Department, Lewis County Opportunities, and Northern Regional Center for Independent Living are sponsoring a unique crime and drug violence prevention event called Lewis County Night Out. And whereas the Night Out event will be held on September 6th, the opening ceremony will be in recognition of local working canine dogs, police dogs, and service therapy dogs. The annual event provides a unique opportunity for the county in promoting police-community partnerships and cooperation in crime prevention efforts. Lewis County plays a vital role in assisting the Louisville Village Police, Lewis County Sheriff's Office, New York State Police, DEC, and Forest Rangers in joining crime, drug, and violence prevention efforts in Lewis County and are locally supporting the Night Out event. It is essential that all citizens of Lewis County be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and the impact that their participation can have on reducing crime, drugs, and violence in Lewis County. Now therefore, I do hereby call upon all citizens of Lewis County to join the Lewis County Youth Bureau, Louisville Police Department, Lewis County Opportunities, and the Northern Regional Center for Independent Living to support the 2019 Lewis County Night Out to be held on September 6th at the Lewis County Fairgrounds. Signed by the chairman.
Thank you, Terry. So Joan has requested an attorney-client session to discuss labor negotiations.
It'll be short.
I don't believe there's any other public business. After that, you're welcome to stay if you'd like to, but I think we're just gonna adjourn. So I need a motion to go into attorney-client privilege session. Jerry, second by Brian. All in favor? Opposed? Take a 5-minute recess and then
You.